international buyers had just attended a tea tasting event and finalized some purchase orders. Nishchal Baskuta and Jenny Dodd have similar views on the potential future for Nepali tea.
With their really unique terroir, that's what they should be really focused on, is creating a unique identity for Nepalese tea.
Challenges will always exist, but I personally want to see this more as a friendly competition, and really like the wine industry, where it's not about you are better than me or I am better than you. It's about how we are different.
You have been listening to the documentary from the BBC World Service.
You're listening to the BBC World Service, and here's what's happening in the studio this week.
We travel to Buenos Aires, to the home of Argentinian writer Claudia Piñero, as she starts her latest novel. It tells the story of two sisters who've never spoken, and she explains how the idea began not with a person, but an image of a cat and its identity tag.
In the studio, today at 11:30 and 23:30 GMT. At bbcworldservice.com, the forum.
Supermarkets, whether you love them or seriously dislike them, they've profoundly altered the way that we shop for food. I'll be following their growth from the United States 100 years ago to their almost global reach today. Can anything or anyone halt their expansion?
This is the BBC World Service, the world's radio station.
Coming up on the Arts Hour with me, Nikki Beattie, Irish actor Cillian Murphy talks Oppenheimer and close-up acting. French movie star Juliette Binoche on the art that moves her to tears, and British Congolese comedian Eddie Caddy on the career expectations of African parents.
I always have this joke is when I told my dad I'm going to be a comedian, he said to me, "That's your first joke. You are talented, Eddie. Clearly, you are a comedian. Give me another one." Because that was the best joke I've ever heard.
Also on the show, Bollywood playback singing superstar Shreya Ghoshal talks about TV talent shows. We have live music from the TikTok crooner, singer-songwriter Stephen Sanchez, and the Emmy Award-winning Canadian film director and writer Richie Mehta talks to me about his latest series, Poacher. All that and more coming up on the Arts Hour.
Hello, I'm Neil Nunes with the BBC News. President Biden has said Israel has agreed in principle not to launch military action in the Gaza Strip during the Muslim fasting month of Ramadan, as negotiations for a temporary ceasefire between Hamas and Israel continue. Mr. Biden said a pause in fighting could begin on Monday, about a week before the start of Ramadan. Reuters news agency has given details of a draft agreement based on the truce talks in Paris. As our correspondent in Jerusalem, Yolande Nell, explains.
This includes a 40-day pause in all military operations, the exchange of Palestinian prisoners for Israeli hostages at a ratio of 10-1, and Reuters is quoting a senior source close to the talks. This proposed ceasefire also involves allowing hospitals and bakeries in Gaza to be repaired, and a big increase in the amount of aid going into Gaza, something like 500 aid lorries entering each day. But we have been hearing from both the Israeli media, quoting unnamed Israeli officials, and also the BBC's been hearing from Hamas officials who are much less positive about how close we are to a new deal.
Trade unions in Nigeria are starting a 2-day strike to protest against spiraling prices. Inflation has soared and the value of the local currency is tumbling. Our Nigeria correspondent Nkechi Obona reports.
Africa's largest economy is currently facing a cost of living crisis worsened by the removal of fuel subsidies and the unified foreign exchange rates by the government. Two bold economic policies initiated by President Bola Tinubu, who assumed office last May. Transportation and staple food items including rice, maize, bread, meat and eggs have more than tripled in the last 8 months, with inflation nearly 30%, the highest in more than 3 decades.
The leader of a huge drug trafficking network responsible for a wave of murders and attempted murders in the Netherlands has been jailed for life by a Dutch court. Ridwan Taghi, who was born in Morocco, wasn't in the heavily guarded courtroom for the verdict. 2 of his co-defendants were also jailed for life. 14 other gang members received sentences of between 29 years and 20 months. The case, one of the biggest in Dutch criminal history, has gripped the Netherlands. The gang is thought to be behind the murder of a well-known investigative journalist. South Korea says North Korea has shipped several million artillery shells to Russia to support Moscow's war in Ukraine. Seoul's defense minister said in return, Russia had been supplying North Korea with food. The minister said North Korean munitions factories were working at full tilt in a country where most of the plants were operating at only 30%. World News from the BBC. The U.S. ambassador to the United Nations says Benin has offered 2,000 troops to support a planned international force to help tackle armed gangs in Haiti. Linda Thomas-Greenfield said several Caribbean countries had pledged support and had called for more French-speaking nations to join the effort. Kenya has offered to lead the mission, but that deployment has been delayed. The Colombian government and the ELN rebel group have agreed to resume peace talks in Venezuela in April. They were suspended last week after both sides accused each other of adopting delaying tactics. The ELN has an estimated 6,000 fighters who operate mainly on Colombia's Pacific coast and along the border with Venezuela. Police in Australia have decided not to march in a gay and lesbian Mardi Gras parade in Sydney this weekend after a serving officer was accused of killing a male couple. The police discovered 2 bodies on Tuesday, believed to be that of a missing television presenter and his flight attendant boyfriend. The officer charged with murder had previously been in a relationship with one of them, Jessie Baird. We get more now from Simon Atkinson in Sydney.
New South Wales Senior Constable Beau Lamar Condon, who is Mr Baird's former partner, was charged with 2 counts of murder last Friday. It's alleged he used a police-issued gun to kill the men. The deaths have prompted organisers of this weekend's gay and lesbian Mardi Gras in Sydney to ask the police force not to take part in the parade. They said the call was made to give the LGBTQ plus community space to grieve, although not all agree with the decision.
A music producer is suing the American hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs for alleged sexual assault and forcing him to have sex with prostitutes. Rodney Little Rod Jones' lawsuit is the latest legal action alleging historical abuse by Combs, who's denied all the allegations. BBC News.
Hello and welcome to the Arts Hour on the BBC World Service. I'm Nikki Beattie, bringing you a star-studded lineup of guests and some cultural companionship for the next 60 minutes with the best global arts and culture conversation from across the BBC. Coming up on today's show, in a moment, Irish actor Cillian Murphy, who just won the Best Actor BAFTA for his role as Oppenheimer, which augurs well for the upcoming Oscars. French star Juliette Binoche, who cries when she talks about the art that moves her, and the British-Congolese comedian Eddie Caddy on how his African parents didn't see comedy as a career until the money started flowing in. And the Bollywood singer Shreya Ghoshal, one of India's most successful playback singers, on talent contests and how she feels now being a judge rather than a contestant. We also have live music from the man described as the TikTok crooner, singer-songwriter Stephen Sanchez. That is not all, though. My guests on today's Arts Hour are the Emmy Award-winning Canadian film director and writer Richie Mehta. We'll be talking about his new series Poacher later in the show. And we're joined in the studio by academic, writer and cultural critic Sunny Singh. So before we go any further, what have you both been enjoying culturally that you'd like to recommend to the world? Richie, I'll come to you first.
Sure. Actually, I'll say I just revisited an old film from one of my favorite filmmakers. The film is called Gallipoli. It's a World War I film from Australia from 1981. And the reason I want to recommend it is because I think it's an example of a film that is a perfect script. Mm-hmm. I think the performances are perfect. I think it has a very, very strong intent behind it, and that intent does not reveal itself until the last shot of the film. So it doesn't even require patience because it's so fun to watch until you get there's a gnawing feeling that something's not right. This is not right. This is not right. So it's laced with humor and compassion and endearment, with basically just boys coming together before they go to war in World War I. I just find that these types of films, which I, in a way, try to emulate in my work, is can you, if you have something to say, how well can you mask it through drama?
Sonny, what about you?
My cultural pick is an exhibition. I saw it first in Venice during the Biennale in 2022, and now it's in London, and it's got From Palestine with Art, and it's at the P21 Gallery. Mm-hmm. I think it's an extraordinary selection of incredible Palestinian artists who are both in Palestine as well as in the diaspora.
So is this something that people listening to this can go and access online? Can they see any of the work from these artists that you're talking about?
They would be able to access it online, but I would seriously recommend going and seeing it in the gallery because so many of the work are exquisite and extraordinary, and really you need that full experience. It seems to be traveling since, it was in Venice and now it's in London. Who knows?
And do you think that we view this art differently in light of the current situation?
Very simply, I love art, and I have never stopped thinking about art in ways that are complex, whether it's political and aesthetic and philosophical. And when I first saw the exhibition, I was deeply moved and incredibly awestruck by the work. And I think that is still there. I think the political situation is an issue, and that may color some of the perceptions, but I think the art speaks for itself.
Thank you both. First then, the Irish actor Cillian Murphy is known to millions as Thomas Shelby in the TV drama Peaky Blinders, and he has a movie pedigree that's taken in indie films like Breakfast on Pluto and The Wind That Shakes the Barley, and then massive movies directed by Christopher Nolan, The Dark Knight, Inception, and Dunkirk. He's just won the Best Actor BAFTA for playing the title role in Christopher Nolan's epic drama Oppenheimer, and could very soon add an Oscar to his trophy shelf. He specialises in playing complex, flawed men with dubious morals. The more pressure his characters are under, the better he seems to get. Cillian Murphy grew up in Cork, Ireland, and wanted to be a musician, but after turning down a record deal, he was cast in a short-run play and never looked back. With a lot of red carpet attention coming his way for Oppenheimer, the BBC's Lauren Laverne asked him whether he felt comfortable in that setting.
Yeah, I have struggled with it in the past, and it's not something I'm ever totally at ease with, but I think you have to choose to enjoy it, and I think you can do that in your brain. Just make that alteration. And it's easier then. And, I've had my wife and my kids with me, and that's been lovely. And you'd be an idiot not to enjoy it, Just go with it. That's my attitude.
That performance, so much of it was about demonstrating your character's inner turmoil through the tiniest nuances, all those close-ups, and all of that under the surface that was going on.
Yeah.
How do you get into the right frame of mind to show us rather than tell us what a character is feeling?
Well, I think that's always been the sort of acting that's intrigued me, is when you can see the character thinking, seeing the face as a landscape kind of. And I knew that Chris was going to do that on this piece, and I knew the character was so much in his head that I knew it had to be an interior kind of performance and a small performance. I also knew in the back of my mind that he was shooting this mainly on IMAX cameras so that it would be shown on an 80-foot screen, so that it wasn't that much demonstrating you needed to do physically. It needed to be more how you could sort of transmit the thought process through the face and the eyes and all that. But I knew immediately that it wouldn't be an impression. That's not where my strengths lie. And I knew it would be ultimately a sort of a synthesis of the script, all of the stuff that I was absorbing of him, and then I guess you bring an element of yourself to it, and then you put it all in the mix, and it becomes Chris's version and my version of Oppenheimer.
I wonder where your heart lies. Is it on stage or on set?
I don't think I could have walked onto a film set at 20 years of age with no experience whatsoever. I think I needed to do all those hours on stage.
Do you get nervous?
Not on stage. I get nervous doing films. The distinction being that I think when you do a play, you retain control insofar as if it's a terrible night and you're off, you know that tomorrow you can fix it and be better. Whereas if you commit something to celluloid, it's there forever. There's no fixing it. You may have several goes, but I found the whole sort of apparatus of filmmaking, you know, the huge lights in the vans and the trucks and the electricians and all the crew and everything, they would come to a complete stop, a complete silence, and then you're supposed to perform. I found that very, very intimidating when I was a younger actor. I think I've made my peace with it now, but it was a lot to take on.
Cillian Murphy, and top tip from me, he has his own radio show on BBC Six Music, and it's excellent, so give it a listen if you can. My guests on today's Arts Hour are critic and cultural commentator Sunny Singh and filmmaker Richie Mehta. When I interviewed Christopher Nolan about Oppenheimer for the Arts Hour, I asked about Cillian's ready empathy and whether the director took that into consideration when he cast him. Richie, what do you think Cillian has that's so special?
Presence. I think in a film like that, he brings presence with him. I think rightly so. He's talked about the fact that it was in a way shot for IMAX. It's shot for a grand experience because Nolan's never shied away from theatrical experience. And so for him, it's just embodiment. He doesn't put anything on. And I think there's so much truth to what he's doing in each moment. I mean, his eyes are penetrating. I would say the same for Scarecrow, though. I mean, what he brought to Batman was terrifying just by being present. His genre stuff, 28 Days Later, he's very, very present for this. And this is, everything around him has such weight. But he's actually doing, I think, what he always does, which is incredible presence.
Sunny, what do you think it is that's so special about him?
I have to say, I wouldn't recognize him if I ran into him.
I'm just picking my jaw
Which is not a bad thing, by the way.
But
I think for an actor.
Yeah, but also, maybe I'm being a little harsh here, or perhaps even controversial. But I just feel that he's played this part before. That white man with a degree of privilege and power has a moral dilemma, is humanized with a little bit of backstory. He has the option of going ahead and possibly destroying the world. He sort of broods over it for a few seconds, and then goes ahead and chooses to destroy the world. And I find it quite strange because there are other films. And I think
you're talking about him being tipped for Best Actor Oscar here.
Definitely, and I think he'll win because it's the safe Oscar-y choice.
Richie, do you think he'll win?
I do think he'll win, but I think, to be honest, I think Bradley Cooper is as deserving. I think he's done an incredible job.
Really? Because that in Bollywood is what we call a vanity vehicle. That is a vanity vehicle.
I understand.
And I didn't think he was.
We're all differing here on
exactly,
on
which is a good thing.
I'll tell you, my top choice, somebody who did amazing work, will likely not win, but I loved every nuance he brings to every scene. Is Jeffrey Wright.
Jeffrey Wright in American Fiction.
Yeah,
absolutely. I concur.
And he's wonderful. He's always wonderful too.
Yeah.
But he's never rewarded.
But I also I qualify everything I say as I don't think the Oscars have anything to do with.
Of course they don't.
I don't even have to finish the sentence.
No, no.
It just.
Cillian wanted to be a musician. Did either of you have a different career in mind before becoming what you are today? Did your Desi Indian parents want you to be a filmmaker and a creative?
They were very, very kind to me. They're the reasons I got into film because they loved movies so much. I knew from age 3 or 4 I wanted to make movies.
Really?
And they supported it. They were trying to help me, in fact. And I remember there was an incident once on one of my first feature film. My parents had divorced at that point for several years, and they hadn't spoken for years. And I was shooting in Delhi, and it was a scene with an actress named Seema Biswas, who was the Bandit Queen. We were doing something together, and at one point, she looks to the doorway, and she goes, and I look to the doorway of the set, and I see my mom and dad standing there watching me, and I hadn't seen them in the same frame in my vision at that point for 8 years because they weren't speaking, but they were both there to help. And I remember thinking, this is full circle.
Right.
This is the children carrying on and doing their best to make our family work at something great.
What about you, Sunny?
I have loved stories all my life, but had no clue that you could actually make a living from a story or telling stories. So 3-4 years old, I wanted to build a spaceship and fill it with books and music and go away. I realized you had to not only have a lot of resources, money and so on, but you also needed to know a lot of different kinds of engineering. So then I had a second plan. I was going to create a radio and make contact with aliens and be taken away.
Wow, you were living in a space age then.
Yeah, totally. This is
Like,
it.
like Contact,
70s.
like Carl Sagan.
You know, I was born the year of the moon landing. So, you know, this was us, on my generation.
Yeah.
And I actually joined university as an engineering student. And then after the first year, I went to my mom and said, I'm really bored with it. And she said, well, I was waiting to see when you would realize it. And so I switched to literature.
And the rest is history, thankfully. Thank you both. You're listening to The Art There on the BBC World Service. I'm Nikki Beattie. Oscar-winning French actor Juliette Binoche is known for her portrayal of emotionally complex characters over a 40-year career. Her films have included The Unbearable Lightness of Being, Three Colours Blue, Chocolat, and The English Patient, for which she won her Academy Award. The BBC's John Wilson spoke to Juliette Binoche, asking for the biggest cultural influences on her life, and she told him about seeing a theatre production of Alfred Jarry's Au Vieux Roi, directed by the legendary Peter Brook.
I was probably 13 or 14, and I remember following this play and being mesmerized by it. And at the end of it all, I felt so much joy watching it. I remember standing up. Everybody was standing up and applauding, and the joy I felt. That if you can give that joy, I want to give it as well.
You're really moved at the memory of that.
Yes, but, well, that's what actors do, is that they believe in what they say. It's like that. It's almost automatic. But there was this awareness of that. Oh, wow. I want to do that, because it seems so direct. It's a direct emotion, and it transforms you for your whole life. So that's why going to see, art is so important, because it really can transform you inside. And it's not you intellectually deciding, it's your body that is taken, and this concentration of something you received. You can't really say what it is, but it feeds your soul, it feeds your life. And I felt like, wow, I want to do that.
It's really interesting that you're moved by the memory of something which is absurd, and it's a very funny play in many ways. It's not like you were talking about seeing, I don't know, Romeo and Juliet for the first time.
Right.
And still being moved at the
Right.
tragedy. So it's the experience of the theatre which moves you.
Yes. And there was a special spirit in Peter Brook's plays, and theatre. He created a place it was something else. It came almost from, instead of showing off something, it was like going down into something. And that's what I love about acting myself. It's like the fact of not trying to pull it up, to show it, that I can do this, I can do that. I'm in the will kind of gear that I'm going to show you how wonderful I am as an actress. It's more descending into a place where, okay, I need to be humble here first. Otherwise it doesn't come towards you. There's something like that. I get moved because it's like the movement you do in order to be transparent in a way.
Why does it move you so
I don't
much,
know.
Sophie?
I think I'm made like that. I'm made like that because it touches me. And I'm not controlling it. It's just happening. Probably it's when you open yourself. It's as simple as that.
Actor Juliette Binoche. Her latest film is The Taste of Things, and you can see her playing the legendary fashion designer Coco Chanel in the new Apple TV Plus series, The New Look. My Arts Hour guests today are the filmmaker Richie Mehta and our cultural commentator is Sunny Singh. Sunny, do you have a life-changing art experience?
Lots and lots and lots. But the big one is being a teenager one summer in India and reading Midnight.
This is Salman Rushdie's
This
book.
is Salman Rushdie's book. It was a really hot summer, and you had to. I would lie down on these stone floors, and you had to move every X amount because that was the only way to keep cool. I read it in 3 days flat, and my mind had been blown open because more than anything else, nobody had ever said to me, "You can use English." And English is my second language, and to read that, hear the voices, that was it. I can do this.
What a lovely example. Richie, what about you?
For me, it would have to be the first time. So when I grew up, my father would bring home pirated VHS tapes from I don't know where. Some Indian friend would just get me movies. And there would always be 2 or 3 films that were a terrible combination on those tapes. And so he brought me home one day Star Wars, and on the same tape was Gandhi, the film.
Oh, right.
And so I grew up for about 10 years watching Star Wars, pretty much every day playing Lego, loving it. And then one day, I let it play after. And it went into this boring 3-hour film. And
Excuse me laughing like that.
But then I watched it, and I guess I was at the right age, because I'm like, this makes me want to be a better person. And I'd been watching the wrong film the whole time.
Oh.
And I realized if a movie can actually do this, actually move you as an Indian and as a human being, and I will say, I think the movie there's dated aspects to it, there's problematic aspects to it. At the same time, it's made with so much love still. But it does show one aspect of this person, and it does it using every tool of cinema at its disposal at the time, and every resource available. And I said, if a movie can move a young person to want to be a better human being, I want to get on the side of this thing.
And you have. Yeah. Thank you both. You're with the Arts Hour. I'm Nikki Baby. Born in Kinshasa in the Democratic Republic of Congo, comedian Eddie Caddy moved to the UK with his family when he was 8. As well as being an award-winning comedian, Eddie presents an Afrobeat show for BBC Radio, and he's toured as a host for huge music artists, Wizkid, Lauryn Hill, Burna Boy. When Eddie spoke to the BBC's Jamuke Fashola, he explained his family weren't always sure about his career choice.
My name is Eddie Caddy. I am a comedian, presenter, actor, and a proud African.
I'm curious, did your parents want you to be something different? Because I said I wanted to be an actor, and my parents were like, let me call a family meeting, or this is not the way. What was your experience?
Jamuke, you said you are curious, like you don't know the answer to that. Where's your curiosity? Are you curious? What's your household like? We were all the same. I always have this joke is when I told my dad I'm going to be a comedian, he said to me, that's your first joke. You are talented, Eddie. Clearly, you are a comedian. Give me another one. Because that was the best joke I've ever. My dad was not happy. His idea was go to university, doctor, accountant, lawyer. It was circling around that. They'll drop hints. He will drop hints. And actually, my father as well, when he came to this country, he did the odd jobs. Pots and pans, cleaning swimming pools with his friends and all that stuff. My dad was so annoyed when I said I wanted to become a comedian. He didn't watch me perform for time. And one day he came to watch me because my mum convinced him, my sister put him under pressure. And he sat there for half an hour when I was performing, didn't laugh once. All he was doing was nodding. He just nodded throughout the whole time, looking around, nodding, like, in fact, not even looking at me whilst on the stage. And I thought, this guy is disgusted. So I came at the end and I said, Dad, what did you think of the show? Because I've received a standing ovation. He said, yeah, that was the best thing I've ever seen. You are so talented. Oh, that was funny. But you didn't laugh. All you was doing was nodding, like you wasn't even watching me. He said, hey, Eddie, I was nodding because I was counting the money, £20, £20, £20. There's 200 people here. Hey, the mortgage is sorted. When is our next show? Our next show. The guy became my accountant for the next 10 years.
It's amazing, isn't it? Once your parents see you perform.
Absolutely.
I mean, this absolutely happened to me where my mother was like, nah, honestly, you see the level of the family meeting, Eddie, I'm telling you, I was so embarrassed. I was like, but then they see you on TV or whatever, and they're suddenly like, oh, that's our child.
They take it to another level. Me, recently, with my recent success and me doing Strictly Come Dancing, I'm like, my mom's open 4 WhatsApp groups. And they pretty much have the same kind of name. Did you see me on the BBC? Did you see me on the BBC again? Oh, I've been on the BBC. Oh, by the way. The 4th group is, by the way, I was on the BBC. It's that level of pride. And then what starts to happen is my dad will be like, this is in our blood. Your granddad was a great storyteller. Why did you tell me that before? When I was looking for inspiration, when he was trying to put me off this career, suddenly it makes sense. But I think the beautiful thing is, it's a full circle moment. They educate us so we can also educate them.
Comedian Eddie Caddy. My guests on today's Arts Hour are the filmmaker Richie Mehta and our cultural commentator is Sunny Singh. As all three of us have South Asian heritage, at the risk of massively generalising, and Rishi, you've already talked about this, and Richie, will you be encouraging if your daughter wants to go into the arts, or would you like her to have a job that has a little more guarantee in it?
Honestly, what I'm going to gauge for is how passionate she is about it. If she equates it like I do, that it's oxygen, then I'm obviously not going to stand in her way. But really hope she doesn't go into performance.
Why?
But yes.
Why?
Just because, I mean...
It's heartbreaking sometimes.
It is. It's hard because we teach our children, don't worry what other people say.
Yeah.
And performers, we teach them, their living depends on external gratification.
So
it's
true.
completely counterintuitive to everything we say to our children. I just hope she
Behind the camera, please. Behind the camera.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Lots of arts. Oh, maybe something else.
Oh, there's tons of art. There's
Yes.
tons of way to do it. Yeah.
That's it for part one of the show, but don't go away. Still to come, the incredible Bollywood playback singer Shreya Ghoshal, and I'll be talking to Richie Mehta about his latest TV series for Amazon, Poacher. The Arts Hour is back after this.
This is the BBC World Service in conversation with Anne Patchett about her book, The Dutch House.
The children, their father, a cook and a housekeeper lived together in the Dutch house of the title. Then, one day, things began to change.
I wonder to what extent traditional fairy tales informed either the setting or the evil stepmother.
I don't think I'm going to write a book with a Hansel and Gretel theme. I get to the end, and then I think, oh, look, there are Hansel and Gretel.
Hi, Anne. I loved the cover.
One of the things I despise on books, and I say this as somebody who owns a bookstore, publishers believe that a woman reader must see herself as the heroine, so they don't ever want the heroine's face on the cover of the book. I find this infuriating.
World Book Club, Saturday at 12 GMT.
Still to come on the Arts Hour with me, Nikki Bedi, my conversation with the Emmy Award-winning director and writer Richie Mehta. We talk about his new series, Poacher, set in Kerala, India, and Indian playback singing superstar Shreya Ghoshal on how TV talent shows launched her career.
I was so nervous, so young, and I had no experience. I came from a small town, and I never thought that it would catapult me into the mainstream in such a big way.
All that and more coming up on the Arts Hour.
BBC News with Neil Nunes. A man accused of leading one of Europe's biggest drug trafficking networks has been jailed for life by a Dutch court. Ridwan Taghi was found guilty of involvement in numerous murders and attempted killings. 16 other defendants received lengthy sentences. One of Russia's best-known human rights campaigners has been jailed for 2.5 years by a court in Moscow. Oleg Orlov was found guilty of discrediting the Russian army. He was initially fined at a trial last year, but prosecutors demanded a stiffer penalty. President Biden says Israel has agreed, in principle, not to take military action in Gaza during the Muslim fasting month of Ramadan, which begins in 2 weeks' time. Negotiations for a temporary ceasefire and hostage release between Hamas and Israel continue. The U.S. military says it carried out further strikes against Yemen's Iranian-backed Houthis on Monday in response to threats to shipping in the Red Sea area. A 2-day general strike is taking place in Nigeria in protest at rising prices. Annual inflation is at almost 30%. Farmers from across Poland have converged on Warsaw in a protest against EU regulations and cheap Ukrainian grain. It's the first time they've taken their demonstrations to the capital. A court in Pakistan has charged a prominent journalist with waging an online campaign against the judiciary. Asad Tor is a well-known critic of Pakistan's military. The Human Rights Commission has called for his immediate release. Police in Australia have decided not to march in a gay and lesbian Mardi Gras parade after a serving officer was accused of killing a male couple. On Tuesday, the police discovered 2 bodies believed to be those of a missing TV presenter and his boyfriend. BBC World News.
Welcome back to the Arts Hour on the BBC World Service with me, Nikki Bedi, and if you've only just joined...
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clemens, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur, and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business, but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Star Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hey, Charlie. You're on your way to Ghana. Boy, oh boy. You're stressed out. Tired? Go, you're going to be resting. Okay, then let me recommend to you JN Mobile Spa in Accra, Ghana. Oh boy. JN Mobile Spa, they provide organic care in massage. Are you stressed? Do you need rejuvenated, etc.? For your facials, maybe exfoliating, firming, and lifting? Then contact JN Spa on 00233 244 941 002 or 00233 2006 06386, and they will be right there on time. JN Mobile Spa, your health and beauty needs at your doorstep. Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and intact? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination intact. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Prampram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Prampram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at Ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour Show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour Show is your best source into the property industry.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clemens, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business. The show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR, S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hey, Charlie. You're on your way to Ghana. Boy, oh boy. You stressed out. Tired? Go, you're going to be resting. Okay, then let me recommend to you JN Mobile Spa in Accra, Ghana. Oh boy. JN Mobile Spa, they provide organic care in massage. Are you stressed? Do you need rejuvenated, etc.? For your facials, maybe exfoliating, firming, and lifting? Then contact JN Spa on 00233 244 941 002 or 00233 2006 06386, and they will be right there on time. JN Mobile Spa, your health and beauty needs at your doorstep. Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and intact? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination intact. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Radio show. The best radio show.
Hi there, this is CJ Buckman, your life coach. And whenever I'm in London, I listen to Starr Radio UK right here. But guess what? You can listen to wherever you are.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
All around the world. In your car,
At work,
at home,
on your smartphone.
This is Starr Radio UK. Are you ready to turn it up?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, your heart is aching. Smile even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you get by. If you smile through your fear and sorrow, smile and maybe tomorrow you find that life is still worthwhile. If you just smile. Hey, this is Archie, and you are listening to Starr Radio UK and the Morning Show. And the Morning Show.
This is Starr Radio UK. Starr Radio UK. This is Starr Radio UK.
Welcome.
Broadcasting worldwide online 24/7.
Enlighten your day with Starr Radio. Starr Radio. Radio for the people, by the people.
With Vueling Airlines, you can enjoy 27 degrees.
Welcome.
Fly to the Canary Islands at the best price. Find your sunny destination. Vueling Airlines.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go from Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business.
Love for you runs deep. All of you makes my heart beat. You make a doubt they fade, Jesus, and that's what makes you great. You hold the world in your hands, the hand that made me who I am. Same God now, yesterday, and forevermore. And that's what makes you great. You are God. You will never change. You remain the same till the end. Till the end. You are God. One who took my pain, took away my shame. Lord, you reign. That's why forever call you great. Great are you, Lord. Great are you, Lord. Great is to be praised. Great are you, Lord. Great are you, Lord. 'Cause I'm celebrate.
Love for you runs deep. All of you makes my heart beat. You make a dog fade, and that's what makes you great.
You are God. You will never change. You remain the same till the end. Till the end. You are God.
One who took my pain, took away my shame. Lord, you reign.
That's why forever call you great. Great are you, Lord. Great worship you. Heaven and earth cry out your name. I worship you. Holy, holy, God Almighty, I worship you. Heaven and earth cry out your name. I worship you. Great are you, Lord. Great are you, Lord. Greatly to be praised.
Okay, let me say a massive good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you, wherever you might be on planet Earth, and those of you on other planets as well. We want to salute each and every one of you and tell you that welcome to the Star Radio UK Tuesday edition of the morning show. Well, there's been a bit of I don't know whether to say deletion there, whether it's from the Facebook platform or not. I'm not very sure what exactly is happening, but wherever you are listening to me or watching me from this morning, I want to salute you and I say welcome to Star Radio UK and welcome to the Tuesday edition of the morning show. Do me a massive favor, share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones and invite them to like our pages. Now, if you're watching me on any of the platforms that Star Radio UK is normally or usually on, please do me a massive favor and give me a thumbs up for me to know that we are able to stream live there, because it looks like most of our sites have been blocked. I don't know for what apparent reason, but wherever you are, once again, I say welcome to the program. From now till 12 o'clock, when we'll do our best to see whether we can sort out this challenge that is going on. I'm going to be bringing you the morning show. Let me say good morning to my producer, Mr. Francis Gaye, Mr. Laimi Koiki, Mr. Frank Davids, and all the team behind the scenes working. I say massive good morning to you. Anthony Adedeji, good morning. Aziz, good morning. Bishop Adeshina, massive good morning to you all and to your colleagues at the RBS office in Lagos, Nigeria. To all Pastor Momo, Pastor Emmanuel Chidi, and all you wonderful people, once again, welcome to Star Radio, okay, and welcome to the morning show. I remain yours sincerely, the one and only.
This is the morning show with Archie.
Okay, so by way of program outline, I'm going to bring you the quote for the day. The weather forecast will follow suit. Then the travel updates will move on from there. We'll have a look at some of the stories making the rounds across the globe. It's known as Global Trotting. We continue from there to bring you all the details of the stories that are making the rounds this morning. And then from there, we continue. We'll open the lines at 11:45. That is 11:45 here. And then at 12 o'clock, we'll bring the curtains down because the technical team need to see to what is happening with the broadcasts on the various social media platforms. But you do me a massive favor, share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones, and I'll be so grateful to you. Once again, welcome to the show. Well, the 27th of February, the quote for the day says, generally, you cannot change people as quickly as you might like to. Nevertheless, it is worth trying to be nice to all. So this morning, can you say you are being nice to everybody? Well, the good book says, as much as it depends on you, live peaceably with all men. All men. Okay. So do we say that we are doing that, or do we see to it that people do so? Somebody will say, lie, they. Okay, when it comes to the weather front as well, this is what the weather has got. Now, there's going to be light rains today. Temperature is going to be 9 degrees. The lowest is going to be 5 degrees. UV level is going to be low. Pollution is going to be low. 17:37 is the sunset time, and sunrise will be at exactly 06:51 hours. A bit of details there. We'll see mist and fog lifting, leaving bright spells. Cloud will thicken later in the morning, turning largely cloudier in the afternoon. A few spots of rain may develop by the evening. Now, cloudy this evening with a few light spots of drizzle. Cloud and drizzle will clear southeastwards overnight, but areas of low cloud, mist and fog will form in places towards dawn. Listeners, this is Starr Radio UK. That is the end of the weather forecast for you, and I take you straight to the travel this morning to bring you what is happening on your travels. So on the underground this morning, well, Central Line has got minor delays. Piccadilly Line has got minor delays as well. The London Overground has got part suspension, and London Tramlink part suspension. That aside, all the other underground lines are running a good service. DLR good service there as well. That takes us straight to the major roads in London. On the major roads in London, apart from the North Circular A406 that has serious delays, all the others have no exceptional delays, and it's a good way to travel there. Through there as well. Now, Riverbus has got good service, and then London Cable Car good service there as well. Bringing us straight to the final segment of the travel update. And let me say, keep your eyes on the roads, keep your eyes on the roads as we keep you navigated. Our promise, our bond. Now, Chiltern Railways is running a minor service. Great Northern, minor delays. Greater Anglia, minor delays. London North Eastern Railway special service. Northern Rail special service. ScotRail, minor delays. Southeastern special service. Southern, minor delays. And Thameslink, minor delays there as well. And that is where I would say it once again, as I normally will. Well. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you, wherever you might be on planet Earth. This is Starr Radio UK, and it is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Keep your eyes on the roads. Have a wonderful travel this morning.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur, and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business, but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hey, Charlie. You're on your way to Ghana. Boy, oh boy. You stressed out. Tired? Go, you're going to be resting. Okay, then let me recommend to you JN Mobile Spa in Accra, Ghana. Oh boy. JN Mobile Spa, they provide organic care in massage. Are you stressed? Do you need rejuvenating, etc.? For your facials, maybe exfoliating, firming, and lifting? Then contact JN Spa on 00233 244 941 002 or 00233 2006 06386, and they will be right there on time. JN Mobile Spa, your health and beauty needs at your doorstep. are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Pram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Pram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour Show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour Show is your best source into the property industry.
Everywhere you go, Afrobeat reggae dancehall taking over. Everywhere you go, Afrobeat reggae dancehall taking over. Yo, what's up, people? This is a boy Raskin Bobo One. Tune in every day, every night at the Starr Radio UK with the big man them Archie. When I say order, you say fire.
Welcome back to the program Starr Radio UK. Share the broadcast, those of you on the Facebook. Yes, we restarted the Facebook bit. Yes, I think the technical team has told me what was going on there, but wherever you are, don't tap the dial. Starr Radio UK, it is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. So now let's go on Global Trotting. 3 minutes past the top of the hour. And what have I got news for you? Well, Orasanye has reported a report. Federal government released official list of agencies to be merged. Well, yesterday we had the PDP presidential candidate and the former deputy of vice president saying that, well, he thinks that Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the current president, is not looking at the bigger picture where you have to cut down the number of ministries and merging some of them. Now, the report is saying that the federal government, has released official list of agencies to be merged. So maybe what he said might have not fallen on deaf ears, but that they might have heard it and they are doing something about that. Now, lawmakers' salary is too small for job responsibility. That's what the deputy speaker is saying. Now, what about the citizens of the country, the citizens themselves? How are they seeing it? 3 casualties at Lagos boat capsized, and Nigeria Customs suspend sale of seized food item amid stampede. That shows how desperate people are there. Okay. And then a court stopped MTN, Airtel, others from deactivating subscribers' lines and allow importation of food to reduce hyperinflation, food scarcity in Nigeria. That's what the TUC is telling Tinubu. And we know that the TUC has embarked on a 2-day strike for today and tomorrow. Well, yesterday, the TUC, the Labour leader, I'm not talking about Labour Party, but I'm talking about the union, leader was of the view that there were some speculations that government was going to crack down on demonstrators or people involved in the strike. But they are saying economic hardship, large turnout at NLC protests kicks off in Abuja. There are some more photographs that I'll try to see whether we'll be able to bring that your way. Tinubu government seeks another 500 million loan from World Bank amid economic hardship. The NIC president presents protesters' demands to National Assembly. That's NLC. My apologies. Members protest economic hardship in Kwara and Kaduna. Virtually, it's going all on. But it looks like when the ruling party supporters or sympathizers say that, well, you know, what is happening is all the opposition who are planning all these things against us. But what do you think about all that? Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. And other stories making the rounds in other parts of the world as well. Some stories making it there. At least 15 Catholic worshippers were killed in an attack during a service in northern Burkina Faso. At least 15 Catholic worshippers were killed in a Burkina Faso village on Sunday when gunmen attacked a community as they gathered for prayers. A very, very sad one. That instability that is going on there in the Sahel region. I think it's about time they put things down to make sure that things pan out well. Senegal president proposes general amnesty amidst political tension. And then that is president of the 6th UN Environment Assembly urges African countries. 9 people have died in a road crash in South Africa after the ANC national gathering that took place. My listeners, it's all coming your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, moving on to some other stories as well that is making the round this morning. In Ghana, the president of Ghana, Nana Akufo-Addo, is presenting SONA 21, the State of the Nation's address. Now, what else has he got there to tell the people? We'll do our best to see how best we can capture some of the discuss or points that he is putting across. So stay tuned, don't you go away. Stop needless stalls and get to work. Afedi to Amin Adams. The chairman of the Public Accounts Committee, James Kluche Afedzi, has charged newly appointed Finance Minister Dr. Amin Adams to immediately abandon his store across the country and get to work. Well, he's going around to ascertain for himself how desperate people are, how people are impoverished, so that they can look at it. But well, he's calling him to order. Come on, set up and do your work. Crack the whip, get them to do their work, and then stop what he's doing. But what do you think about all that? This will come your way from Starr Radio UK. As I did say earlier on, we're going to be having a rep of the ruling government, the ruling party in Ghana. That's the NPP. I was going to say NPP in Ghana, God willing, Friday. Yes, I'll be telling you more about that as well. But we'll let you know everything pertaining to that wherever you are. Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Focus on the wealth of experience he brings on board. Government justifies reappointment of Oforiatta. Yesterday, I was talking to my producer pertaining to the various changes that the president of Ghana has made. But government has justified the reappointment of former Finance Minister Ken Oforiatta as senior presidential advisor and special envoy for international finance and private sector investment. Well, he never went. Well, he's been given another position. So what about that? It is all coming away from Starr Radio UK. Okay, in other parts of the world as well. What's going on? What's going on? Now, hope for Gaza ceasefire by next week, says Biden. And then 2 bodies found in search for missing Sydney couple. And U.S. airman dies after setting himself alight at Israeli embassy. As well as some of the stories making the rounds there. And in other stories making the rounds as well. Okay. Sweden midfielder Olsen on ventilator in hospital. We wish him all the best and wish him a speedy recovery on that front as well. May he receive the healing that he needs so that he can be out of that place. Welcome your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, when it comes to the UK front, Anderson refuses to rule out joining Reform UK. Well, his whip had been taken from him, but he thinks that, when he was questioned pertaining to whether he would join Reform UK, he didn't say anything. So there's a tendency that he might now join Reform UK. But what do you think? Alan Bates to appear before MPs as post office compensation to exceed £1 billion. And MOD pauses new army housing plans after a backlash there as well. A COVID inquiry to examine Wales' pandemic response is also going on. But it's all coming your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Lots more going to be coming your way from there. So wherever you are, don't even think of touching the dial. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let's enjoy this song. And then once we come back, I'll bring you everything that you need to know. Yes, stay tuned and don't you go away. This is from Shadrach Mensah Kwesi.
Everybody say,
This is Starr Radio UK.
Okay, so I took you all the way to Ghana. Yes, my country of birth. And that was Shadrach Mensah bringing you some worship tunes there. I hope that you did enjoy it. But this is all Starr Radio UK. We're here to promote everyone and everybody who comes or brings us his products or services to be promoting for you. We will make sure that we do that here on this platform. This afternoon at 1:30, we're having BB Clement coming your way with BB Means Business. So make a date with her. Yes, so wherever you are, don't touch the dial. Now let's go into detail some of the stories making the round. As I did say, because of what was happening, pertaining to what was happening on the BBC, my apologies, on the broadcast earlier on. The technical team were working because those of you on Facebook couldn't see the broadcast live, and those of you on YouTube were also having a bit of a challenge there. So we will be bringing you, we will be bringing the program to close at 12 o'clock so that we can have a look, the technical team can have a look at that before we bring BB Clement to you at 1:30. So wherever you are, don't even think of touching the dial. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. So what is happening in the stories as I did put across this morning? Well. The NLC, that's the Nigeria Labour Council, has embarked on a demonstration in Nigeria today, strike, and there are most of the people or NLC members are on the grounds and demonstrated in Abuja and various states as well. And I hope to say, as I was saying earlier, I hope that the various yes, just bear with me. Okay. Yes, so let's move on. Now, the President, Nigeria Labour Council, Congress, my apologies, Joe Ajaro, has handed over their letter of demands to the National Assembly. The demands included a full implementation of the welfare provision, employment generation, immediate subsidy to farmers to boost agricultural production, and fixing the 4 refineries, among others. Ajaro handed over the letter to the chairman of the Senate Committee on Labor, Employment and Productivity, Senator Dickett Plank, on Tuesday. Ajaro, in his remarks at the National Assembly, said Nigerians embarked on the peaceful protest because there was hunger in the land, adding that Nigeria is becoming like Zimbabwe. Ajaro noted that the minimum wage negotiations has started, but the amount was yet to be decided. He said that the protests will serve as a signal to the federal government to immediately tackle the challenges bedeviling the country. Well, The NLC and other related unions commenced national planned protests today over the high cost of living, inflation, insecurity, and hardship in the country. The unions involved are the Medical and Health Workers Union of Nigeria, FCT Council, National Association of Nigeria Nurses, Midwives, Nigeria Union of Teachers, and Construction Workers Union, among others. The protesters were seen carrying placards such as hashtag End Poverty and Hunger, support our local industries, fix local refineries, end subsidy, end Naira devaluation, tax the rich subsidize the poor, to make their grievances known on the current economic hardship across the country. We'll be bringing you more details about that because it's something that seems to be going on this morning. Well, in other stories as well, most of the stories this morning are relating to that. The chairman of the Nigeria Congress, Labour Congress, Borno State Chapter, Comrade Yusuf Inuwa, has accused the State Police Commissioner, Mohammed Yusuf, of preventing members from embarking on peaceful protests in Maiduguri, the state capital. Inuwa disclosed that this while briefing journalists at his office on Tuesday morning. He said, after all arrangements were made for the peaceful protests over the economic hardship, he received a distress call from the police chief that his attention was needed at the police headquarters in Maiduguri. According to him, while he was at the police headquarters, the CP informed the chief police informed him that NLC should not lead the protest considering the peculiar and fragile security situation in the state. I address you this morning to inform you that the NLC has been prevented from embarking on the nationwide peaceful protest in Maiduguri by the chief of police. It will interest you to know that after all arrangements were made for the peaceful protest over the economic hardship, I received a distress call from the police commissioner that my attention was needed at the police headquarters in Maiduguri. While I was at the police headquarters, the CP informed me that the NLC should not lead the protest considering the peculiar and fragile security situation in the state. I therefore immediately summoned an emergency meeting with all state executive members, all unions and affiliates. We discussed extensively and we came to the conclusion that, my apologies there, it came to the conclusion that for peace to reign, we should address the press and let the whole world know that we are prevented from embarking on even a kilometer street protest. Well, various states and what they think they are going to be doing. But the Trade Union Congress has advised President Bola Tinubu to lift the ban on food importation to reduce hyperinflation and food scarcity in Nigeria. Now, Festus Osifu, the president of the TUC, said this at a press conference in Abuja on Monday, urging government at all levels to purchase sufficient quantities of food from abroad and share them with vulnerable Nigerians to ease the hardship in the country. He said governments at all levels should immediately purchase sufficient quantities of food items from different parts of the world and share them with their vulnerable Nigerians. Osifu urged the federal government to allow temporary importation of food items, saying that Nigerians are battling for survival. Are you talking about battling for survival? Then that is very, very desperate times. He argued that the local production of food is not sufficient to address the scarcity, saying that importation will help to reduce the food crisis in the country. Importing food from abroad at this point will assist in reducing the hyperinflation of food that is currently being experienced locally. The union leaders also alleged that the prices of rice skyrocketed because the government was chasing the product with middle class and vulnerable Nigerians. According to the National Bureau of Statistics, headline inflation rose to 29.9% in January from 28.92% in the previous month. Now, food inflation rose to 35.41% from 33.93%. A medium-sized sliced bread priced at 750 naira in January to 2023 has seen a 33% increase and is now sold at 1,000 naira. The cost of a piece of egg doubled from 100 naira to 200 naira, and the cost of a crate of eggs rose from 2,200 naira to 3,500 within the same period. Listeners, this is Starr Radio UK. That's how desperate situation in Nigeria is like this morning. We'll touch on one other one and then we move on straight. We move on straight to some of the other stories making the rounds across the globe this morning in other areas, as I did say. Now, last week we had the Nigerian customs who were auctioning some food that have been seized. But information coming through says that in a tragic turn of events, the Nigerian Customs Service has decided to suspend the sale of seized food items following a stampede that resulted in the loss of lives at the NSC Old Zonal headquarters in Yaba, Lagos State. Last Friday, the customs aiming to alleviate the economic burden on citizens had announced the disposal of seized food items on February 20. Now, the initial phase of the operation commenced smoothly at the Yaba office with over 5,000 beneficiaries, including vulnerable groups, participating in an orderly manner. However, as the event progressed and supplies ran out, customs announced a continuation the next day. Unfortunately, this decision triggered a desperate surge among the crowd searching for rice bags within emptied containers, leading to a stampede with regrettable fatalities and injuries. Now, Abdullahi Maiwada, the customs spokesperson, expressed deep condolences to the affected families and revealed that the service is collaborating with authorities to support victims and their families. Listeners, this is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, my producer have pointed me to one other story that's making the rounds. The Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Right Honorable Benjamin Okezi-Kalu, has said that equal opportunities will be accorded to all Nigerians to contribute their quota in the ongoing effort to shape Nigeria's future. The Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Right Honorable Benjamin Okezi, has said that Nakalu gave the assurance while delivering his opening remarks at the inauguration of the Constitution Review Committee of the House of Representatives in Abuja on Monday. The Deputy Speaker, who doubled as the chairman of the committee, said that the committee will work diligently to realize its mandate within a reasonable time frame. He said, thus, the call to action is clear and the pathway forward is illuminated by the principle of dialogue, advocacy, participation, unity, and inclusivity. Let us heed the voice of our fellow citizens from all walks of life and engage in open, inclusive, and transparent dialogue on constitutional reforms. Let us bridge divides. Let us bridge divides, build consensus, and forge a common vision for the future of Nigeria. It goes on further to say we must advocate tirelessly for change, holding our elected representatives accountable and demanding accountability at every turn. Really, it will be interesting to know. Participation is not merely a right, it is a sacred duty bestowed upon us as citizens of this great nation. I call upon every one of you to actively participate in the constitutional reform process, to lend your voices, ideas, and expertise to craft a constitution that reflects the values and aspirations of all Nigerians. Listeners, this is all coming away from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. And it's now 11:30. We'll go straight to Africa, some other African countries, to look at the stories that is making the rounds there as well. Senegal's President Macky Sall has announced plans for a general amnesty for political demonstrators from the 2021 to 2024, seeking to ease tensions ahead of upcoming elections. Now, speaking at a national dialogue on Monday, Starr reiterated his commitment to holding elections before the rainy season begins in July and assured that he will honor his mandate and in April. In a significant move towards reconciliation, President Starr expressed his intention to submit a bill to the National Assembly calling for amnesty for political acts related to demonstrations during the specified period. This proposal aims to foster unity and create a conducive environment for the electoral process. However, tensions remain high as rejected candidate Leon Starr highlighted Senegal's rich political history, emphasizing the importance of national dialogue in ensuring democratic alternation of power. Starr's sentiment reflects a desire for inclusivity and adherence to democratic principles, echoing the spirit of past consensual agreements that have shaped Senegal's political landscape. The member of the National Assembly, Seydou Diouf, underscored the president's responsibility to convene stakeholders for dialogue, emphasizing the need for broad-based consultations to ensure transparency and importance of impartial leadership in facilitating peaceful transition of power. Despite Starr's reassurances, the 16th presidential candidate have boycotted the national dialogue, demanding immediate clarity on the election date following a court order earlier this month. Senegal's constitutional court ruled the previous election postponement illegal and instructed the government to set a new date promptly. The delay in announcing the election date has heightened tensions, prompting concerns about the electoral process, integrity and transparency as the political impasse persists. The national dialogue serves as a crucial platform for fostering trust and consensus. The consensus building among diverse stakeholders, including civil society and religious leaders. Well, so I think giving amnesty for political demonstrators or political prisoners, let me put it that way, within the period that is set, 2021 to 2023, is something that is good. So maybe some way, somehow, that will quell the tensions, and then a new date set, and we see what happens from that. Will Sonko be allowed to run as well? Because I bet you his supporters will be also vying for that to happen. But it's all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. Well, Benin has now they are more than sending 2,000 troops to aid Haiti in gang violence battle. Now the question is, the Caribbean countries around that area, why hadn't they sending people to their people from their countries to go and help their own community? Because this is a situation where we're talking about, when we talk about West Africa, we have the ECOWAS. So when there are events happening in the West African sub-region, they are dispatch or contribute various entities, because they don't have a standing force there, but they dispatch people, the various communities, countries that belong to that community, dispatching their own troops to join the force to quell whatever thing that is happening. Okay, that was why President Tinubu, who is the chair of the ECOWAS now, I think for a year he has to be, was advocating for an invasion of Niger if they didn't make sure that they brought President Bazoum, okay, back on. Now, when it comes to Haiti, now it's African countries who have to contribute people or soldiers or troops to go and help them there. We had Kenya that was wanted to do so, and the courts ruled that was unconstitutional, therefore they weren't allowing them to go. Now, those people who live in those vicinity, who knows the terrain, why are they not sending their troops there to do it? Well, the Republic of Benin has pledged to deploy 2,000 troops to Haiti as part of a multinational peacekeeping force to help the Caribbean nation please fight armed gangs. Linda Thomas Greenfield, the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations on Monday, made this known during a press conference in Guyana. The announcement also comes on the heels of the United States committing $200 million in support of marking a significant international effort to restore peace and democracy in Haiti without direct military involvement. The United Nations in October authorized the mission a year after Haiti's unelected government made the request. Now, since then, the office to support the security force based on voluntary contributions have come mostly from developing nations in Africa and the Caribbean, of course. Now, Kenya, which was the first nation in Africa to respond to the request, has pledged to lead the mission, offering 1,000 police officers. But the local court later barred the move as unconstitutional. President William Ruto has, however, vowed the plan will go ahead. Some Caribbean countries that had pledged support had called for more francophone nations to join the efforts because they are a French-speaking country. It's quite interesting, isn't it? Well, it is all coming your way from Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. 11:36 the time. Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. One final story from there, then we move on. As I did say, we'll bring the program to close at 12 so that we try to the technical team finds out what is making what made the broadcast stop earlier on. Okay. At least 15 Catholic worshippers were killed in a Burkina Faso village on Sunday when gunmen attacked community as they gathered for prayers in the country's conflict-hit northern region, church officials said. The violence in the village of Isakani was a terrorist attack that left 12 of the Catholic faithfuls dead at the scene, while 3 others died later as they were being treated for their wounds, according to a statement issued by Abbot Jean-Pierre Zawadugu, Vicar General of the Catholic Diocese of Dori, where the attack happened. No further details were provided about the attack, which no group claimed responsibility for, but suspicion fell on jihadists who have frequently attacked remote communities and security forces, especially in the northern region. In the painful circumstance, we invite you to pray for the rest in God for those who have died in faith, for the healing of the wounded, and for the conversion of those who continue to sow death and desolation in our country. Samudogo said in a statement. About half of Burkina Faso is outside government control as jihadist groups have ravaged the country for years. Fighters have killed thousands and displaced more than 2 million people, and are threatening the stability of the country that had 2 coups in 2022. The country's juntas have struggled to restore peace in violent hotspots since the first coup in January 2022. The number of people killed by jihadists has nearly tripled compared with the 18 previous months, according to a report by the African Center for Strategic Studies in August. Now, in addition to junta's limited capacity, the security situation also has been worsened by the country's porous borders with Mali and Niger, both of which are also run by juntas and which also struggle with security crisis. So, well, they decided to form a patch, what do we call it? Forum where they can also fight their interests. But are we seeing anything of the sort? No, not at the moment. But what do you think about all that? This is Star Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. In Ghana this morning, the president is presenting the State of the Nation's address. And these desperate times, what is he talking about? But let me bring you this story, and then before I bring you all the others. The chairman of the Public Accounts Committee, James Kruche Avedzi, has charged newly appointed Finance Minister Dr. Amin Adams to immediately abandon his tour across the country and get to work. Dr. Adams, since taking over from Ken Ofori-Atta as Minister for Finance Ministry, has been touring the country. Dr. Adams has since paid courtesy calls on the Santehene, the Ochehene, among other prominent people. Mr. Vedi questioned the importance of such a move, asking Finance Minister touring the country for what? He should come back quickly and sit in the office and do his job. He said, According to the K2 North MP, the minister should rather get to work already, given the crisis Ghana's economy finds itself in. By way of advice, the new appointees, Mr. Avedi, urged the newly appointed ministers to focus on completing existing projects started by their predecessors rather than starting new projects. I think the new ministers should concentrate on the existing projects that are being run to complete them. They should not think about coming up with new projects. It won't help them. Is he looking at the fact that maybe the MDC to win the election, they are going to now have to, if people start another like new contracts or new projects, that means that they are the ones going to continue with it. So it's now signing a word of warning to them. But what do you think about all that? It's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. Now, government has justified the reappointment of former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta as senior presidential advisor and special envoy for international finance and private sector investment. Now, according to government spokesperson on governance, Grave Wache Dankwa, Ghanaians must focus on the wealth of experience Mr. Ofori-Atta brings on board after serving as Ghana's longest finance minister. The question that people will be asking is, and where has that landed us? Now, this follows a public campaign by some members of the New Patriotic Party, the opposition New National Democratic Congress, and civil society organizations seeking to have the president revoke the reassignment of the former minister. Now, speaking yesterday, Isaac Adongo, who is the NDC's ranking member on Parliament Finance Committee, described the new rule as needless. He explained that this might also render the office of the finance minister useless, as it will have no influence on the country's economic expenditure. I have reason to say that what president has done is technically to give Mohammed Amin one job with the left and take it back with the right. The appointment of Ken Ofori-Atta is akin to having a senior finance minister supervising the finance minister. Holy moly. Okay. Now, let's come to the State of the Nation's address and let's see what the president has said so far. The presentation adheres to Article 67 of the 1992 Constitution, which requires the president to address Parliament on the State of the Nation at the commencement of its session and preceding Parliament dissolution. His address is in accordance with the constitutional mandate. The president will assess the nation's status as the onset of each session and before Parliament's dissolution. President Rivado is also expected to outline the government primary policy objectives for the year ahead and provide insights into its strategies for addressing the state of the economy. Ghanaians are expecting that the president will touch on a number of policies, which include the government key policy priorities for the upcoming year and the specific measures intended to enhance the current economic situation, among others. As I say, God willing, tomorrow I'll do my best to see what I can get out of that from here. The Executive Director of the African Center for Parliamentary Affairs, Dr. Rashid Draman, has stated that removal of former Majority Leader Osei Mensah Bonsu from his position would have been done in a more democratic manner. Dr. Draman explained that the lawmaker was pushed out of office, and this process could have been managed better than the way it happened. Particularly, look at the way he saw the reshuffle of the NDC front bench. Let's be clear. I think it's not a reshuffle. It's just a way of getting rid of Honorable Osei Mensah Bonsu because he is the only one who has left the bench. All other members are there or promoted, and this is different from what we saw in the case where the entire leadership, I think 75% of them were gone. Now, every party has a right to organize itself both inside and outside of Parliament, but I think it has to be done in a way that we are all comfortable. That is democratic process. There is separation, participation in decision making. We are not in dictatorship, Dr. Draman said. He continued, for somebody like the Honorable Mensah Bonsu, who has spent, I think, all his career in Parliament, this is not a good way to handle such an illustrious career. Majority Leader and Minister for Parliamentary Affairs, Osechi Mensah-Bonsu, has resigned. That has been the move by the Swami MP follows a meeting with the President at the Jubilee House, overseeing impasse with the executive over an attempt to make changes to the front bench of the party in Parliament. Osechi Mensah-Bonsu has however been made chairman of the Manifesto Committee of the party. They will say, we're giving him a new appointment. So that's what he's going to be doing. But some are saying he's been pushed out. What do you think? Listeners, this is Starr Radio UK. Let's take a quick break and we come back and we'll look at some of the other stories making the rounds this morning. Stay tuned and touch the dial.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR, S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hey, Charlie. You're on your way to Ghana. Boy, oh boy. You're stressed out. Tired? Go, you're going to be resting. Okay, then let me recommend to you JN Mobile Spa in Accra, Ghana. Oh boy. JN Mobile Spa, they provide organic care in massage. Are you stressed? Do you need rejuvenated, etc.? For your facials, maybe exfoliating, firming, and lifting? Then contact JN Spa on 00233 244 941 002 or 00233 2006 06386, and they will be right there on time. JN Mobile Spa, your health and beauty needs at your doorstep. Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and intact? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination intact. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy. Okay, welcome back to the program Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Just bear with me. Okay. Yes. Yes. Okay. To the final segment of the morning show today. As I did say, some technical hitches that was going on initially. That's why we're having some challenges for those who were watching us live on the Facebook. Initially, you couldn't get through, but now we managed to get that through. But to get BB Clement's program already, the team requires us to finish exactly before that takes place at 1:30. So we're going to be finishing the program so that we have ample time to see to that. So sincere apologies for that. But remember, at 1:30 exactly, BB Clement will be coming your way. 9 minutes to 12 the time, or 9 minutes to the finishing time. Just touching on one story from here, and then we move on straight. Now, French President Emmanuel Macron has said it is key for Europe's security to defeat Russia in Ukraine amid urgent pleas for more weapons from Kyiv. Now, he was speaking in Paris, where he said European leaders had agreed to set up a coalition to give Ukraine's medium and long-range missiles and bombs. He added that there was no consensus on sending Western troops to Ukraine, but nothing should be excluded. Now, Russian troops made recent gains in Ukraine, which faces big arms shortages. Now, Kyiv is critically dependent on modern armory supplies from its Western allies, particularly the US, to be able to continue fighting Russia. A much bigger military force with an abundance of artillery ammunition, but approval of a much needed 95 billion US aid package, including 61 billion for Ukraine, faces an uphill battle in the House of Representatives. Now, last week, Ukraine's defense minister said half of all Western aid for Kyiv had been delayed, costing lives and territory. Full-scale invasion of Ukraine launched by Russia. President Vladimir Putin is now in the third year with no signs that the biggest war in Europe since World War II would end soon. The Monday's crisis meeting in support of Ukraine was attended by heads of European states, including German Chancellor Olaf Scholz and top government officials like UK Foreign Secretary David Cameron. Delegation from the US and Canada were also present. President Macron said, "We are convinced that the defeat of Russia is indispensable to security and stability in Europe." Now, describing Russia as the sole aggressor, he said, "We are not at war with the Russian people. We just don't want to let them win." So Macron announced that a coalition will provide Ukraine with a missile and bombs of medium and long range to carry out deep strikes. He did not say when such weapons will be delivered, and he did not rule out sending Western ground troops to Ukraine, but acknowledged that the differences remained among the allies. There was no consensus today to and send troops to the ground in a manner that official assumed and endorsed. He said, "But on the dynamic, nothing should be excluded. We will do everything so that Russia cannot win this war. We should not exclude that there might be a need for security that then justifies some elements of deployment." He added, "But I've told you very clearly what France maintains as its position, which is a strategic ambiguity that I stand by." Czech Prime Minister Petr Fiala earlier said his country had no intention of deploying its forces to fight in Ukraine. He was reacting to comments by Slovak counterpart Robert Fico, who was quoted by Reuters news agency saying, "I can confirm there are countries that are prepared to send their own troops to Ukraine. There are countries that say never, among which Slovakia belongs, and there are countries that say this proposal needs to be considered." Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, who also took part in Monday's meeting by video link, said that everything we do together to defend against Russian aggression adds real security to our nation for decades to come. Russia has repeatedly warned that any Western troops deployment in Ukraine would trigger a direct conflict between Moscow and the NATO alliance. Well, so what is going to happen? That's the question on their lips and on the minds of most people. Is this going to enter into a third world war? Because Trump is saying that, well, Biden has to be kicked out because his actions might lead us into a third world war. So if we have, Trump in the White House, how would that augur for Russia? Will Russia say, well, Trump is in, so now we stop because we know that he's not going to be supporting NATO the way that he's normally done. And therefore, what is going to happen is that he's going to tell Russia, okay, seize it. And then Russia will just take the places that they've already captured, send them to maybe a no zone and stuff like that. Ground zero for them. What would that be? But a place where they can, a buffer place for them as well. What do you think? Well, listeners, it is all coming away from Starr Radio UK. Now, interestingly, Prince William has unexpectedly pulled out of that attending the memorial service for the late King Constantine of Greece, where he was due to give a reading. Kensington Palace said this was because of a personal matter. Queen Camilla will lead members of the royal family at the service of St. George's Chapel in Windsor Castle. The king, who is being treated for cancer, will also be unable to attend the service. There are no further details of the personal matter. However, it is understood that Prince William's wife, Catherine, is continuing to do well with the recovery from abdominal surgery, which was carried out last month. Now, Prince William called the Greek royal family this morning to say he wouldn't be able to join them. The service remembers King Constantine, William's godfather, who died last year. Listeners, this is Starr Radio UK. This is the favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. We're going to bring the program to a close. One final story. The Chancellor is considering a cut in national insurance rather than income tax in the budget. Jeremy Hunt is expected to make final decisions on his 6th of March budget plans at the end of this week. A leading think tank has warned the government should not cut taxes in the upcoming budget unless it can spell out how it will afford them. The government said it will not comment on whether further cuts to tax will be affordable in the budget. At last year's autumn statement, Mr. Hunt announced a bigger than expected cut in national insurance, taking the main rate down from 12% to 10% from the start of this year. The government's independent financial watchdog, the Office of the Budget Responsibility, said at the time this cut will help create 28,000 more jobs. A further cut to national insurance of 1% will cost 4.5 billion per year. As first reported, Mr. Hunt is understood to be aiming for a similar approach this time, making what he calls smart tax cuts aimed at improving the economy. So come the 6th of March, we will know exactly what he is talking about there. But ladies and gentlemen, and everyone who joined us this day, I want to salute each and every one of you. Thank you very much for joining us. I have to bring the program to a close, as I did say earlier on, so that the secretary team can see to sort out whatever went on earlier on, so that every other program that will be following this day will be well and able. But I sign out with a song from the Zongo man himself, and he says, "The Problem of Africa." Well, he says the problem of Africa, but what do you think about it? Is the problem of Africa or the problem of everyone across the world? The greed who ranting. Enjoy it until I come your way live tomorrow morning with another edition of the morning show. And remember, tomorrow dawn we'll be having Reverend Michael Esiama and his team on the Command Your Morning program. Yes. So make a date with him from 5:30 to 6:30. But this afternoon, exactly as I said, live program coming from the studios by BB Clement. That is from 1:30. Stay tuned and don't you go away. Zongo Man, Problem of Africa. Bye-bye for now.
The problem
of Africa, they lead. Africa. Who run things, who run things, who run things. The problem of Africa is they lead. Africa. Who run things, who run things, who run things. Them all go to universities. Universities award them degrees. Big, big degrees. 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 Big, big degrees. MSc in stealing. Bachelor of Arts, mismanagement. Another degree. Masters in looting. MSc in corruption. Bachelor of Science, nepotism. MSc in 4 years. Another degree. Bachelor of Arts in discipline. MSc in embezzlement. The problem of Africa is they lead. Africa. Who run things, who run things, who run things. The problem of Africa is they lead. Africa. Who run things, who run things, who run things. Some of them went to London. To London, London School of Fools.
Thanks for listening.